Hi, Hiram here. I've been asked if you can make things like soup on the IntenseOutdoorGear's all-in-one stove. You would think this would be a great way to just heat up a can of soup. Oh, by the way, you do know that you can just eat these things cold. There's not really any cooking involved. You're just warming it up. But warming it up does make it a little bit better to eat. So anyway, you got something like this Campbell's soup can, the 10 3/4 ounce. It's about 2.5 inches across or 6.5 centimeters. Nope, won't work. You got your bigger cans like your Progresso. This is the 18.5 ounces, which is 3 1/3 inches across or about 8.4 centimeters. Not really. Doesn't work. So I think you're going to have to, you can heat up something like this, beans, that would fit on there. But what I'm going to do today is, you know from my previous videos, I'm kind of a man of simple tastes. Give me a can of beans, a slab of Spam, and I'm happy. So what I'm going to do today is make one of my favorite meals, which is beans. I got these at the Dollar Tree when I got the fancy heat cans. Anyway, I'm going to make this in my 12 centimeter zebra pot. Going to try that out on this. This is stainless steel, and stainless steel usually works better than, say, the Boy Scout cook kit of thin aluminum. Stuff won't burn as easy on this. So this is a 19-ounce can of beans. Let me just pour it in here. Just plain beans. I've never had this, but I thought I'd give it a try. At $1 a can for a 19-ounce can, that's not too bad for stuff to have on your shelf. Now this meal isn't really a camping meal, especially not backpacking, especially not for Graham weenies. But this would be something that you could do cabin camping or car camping. But mostly it's for what I consider lights out type of a meal. You know, when the power's gone off and you want something to eat. What I'm going to mix in with the beans is a package of Sandwich Makers seasoned pork. That'll give me basically a pork and beans kind of a meal. Comes in this. I have to try this sometime. These are for microwaves, but you should be able to just stick this into boiling water and heat them up if you had a pot big enough. I've done this before on one of my other burners, and it came out really nice. Doesn't look like much, but it's fairly tasty. So I just mix this in here. Now, when they say pork, they mean they've really pulverized it. Okay. So that's that. Let me get rid of this. So what I've done now is I've taken one of the fancy heat cans, spread the wick out a bit to make it burn a little bit hotter and faster. Let me light this. Wrong light. Yep. That's on. I'll put the all-in-one stove on, and this goes on top of that. Let's see how long this takes to heat up to an eating temperature. Be right back. Even with this pot being stainless steel, you have to, and this burner is rather hot, you really have to keep stirring this every once in a while so that it doesn't burn on the bottom of the pot. Now this one's working out pretty good. But on a Boy Scout pot or something, the thin aluminum, you really got to watch those. So let's see where it goes from here. Okay, depending on how hungry you are, 160 degrees is probably warm enough to eat. It was 160 degrees at what, 1750? I'll have to look back on the video. One thing I forgot to do in the very beginning was stick the thermometer in when I started the timer. But I got it in. As soon as I turned off the camera, I realized that the beans and everything were out here in the garage, so they are at room temperature of about 50 degrees. This has been going for the 17 minutes. Beans are bubbling away. If you like them hotter, you can make them hotter. I think one thing though is I'm kind of at the I didn't get something to snuff this out. I'm kind of at the weight limit, I think, for the all-in-one stand. It was starting to buckle somewhat under this weight. I forget what the weight of the pot is. I'll have to look that up. But 19 ounces for the beans, and the pork that I put in was 7.5 ounces. So that comes out, that's about 1 3/4 pound, plus whatever the weight is on this pot. Let me dip some of this out. Smells pretty good. Get a chunk of pork here. I don't know if you like beans, they're beans. This is the inner cup that's in the zebra pot. I'm going to use it as a dish. Let me try this. Yes, that's hot enough. Let me try it again. I think needs a little barbecue sauce. I mean, it tastes good. You could eat it just like that. I could. But this is my ketchup, barbecue sauce. Put a little dab in there. Mix it up. Not bad. The beans are a little firm. It's probably meant to simmer for a while. But, excuse me, not at all bad for $1. And I think these sandwich makers cost me, what? It was under $2 for that. So not a bad meal. And it's not enough. I mean, it's too much for me to eat. So this would either be 2 meals or 2 people eating it with you. Another nice thing is the beans, the shelf life of this stuff. The beans I just bought, and they had a shelf life of 11/2015. So several years that can sit on the shelf. The Progresso, I bought that last year. It had a shelf life of August of 2014. And the Campbell's soup is from last year, and it runs out this year. So the beans really, I mean, what can you do to beans? So that's my making lunch with the all-in-one stove. I don't think soup cans will work on this. It's a little bit too wide. Everything just falls through. Can either has to be larger than this so that its rim sits on the outside of this, or some other, maybe a couple of wires going across or something. So I thank you for watching. I hope that answers the questions that people had about the soup cans and stuff. Again, I thank you for watching. I look forward to your input, questions, remarks, helpful suggestions. And as always, watch for my buddy Max while I go enjoy some beans for lunch. Bye now.